here with Dr. Bhrett McCabe. He is the very next guest on the Blueprint Podcast. Looking forward to Monday's podcast. We cover a lot of ground, and I'm just going to warn you, we go way over the 30 minutes that we try to stick to, but it's just such rich, good stuff. You don't want to miss it. Just a thumbnail, kind of a sketch of your story. You were a pitcher at LSU during the heyday, really, of that. I mean, surrounded by so many great athletes, an incredible coach, Skip Bertman, easy for me to say. But it was there that you really had a light bulb moment. What was that light bulb moment for you?
You know, in brief, the light bulb moment was when I had to start fighting for success versus just expecting it to happen. Right. I think it was, we always hear people say, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Mm-hmm. Look, this world's competitive. You got to try to win. And you use a process to get there, so you got to know your formula. For me, I had to stop playing with if-then statements. If I am feeling this way, then I'll be successful, and just go for it. 100% let it go and rock.
Much more of Dr. Brett's story in the podcast is coming on Monday. I think we do a fun little thing, 5 questions. Yep. So 5-question Friday with Dr. Brett. Question 1, can the mental process that helps athletes perform better actually help leaders perform better?
No doubt. So ultimately it comes down to, what do you want, right? If you want to be number one in the world or you want to lead an organization, what's the plan you're going to build to get there? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do to start trusting yourself in those decision makings and those high pressure scenarios? The more you trust, the more you have confidence in yourself. And then finally, then you start believing in what you are. And then I would add one thing. I had a great leader when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry who said, don't always look for the next job. Think about your last job, that you're going to walk away from the industry and then start adding the skills necessary to be in that position. So I think whether you want to be number one in the world and leave the organization or leave as a CEO, both of those fit. So yes, the parallels are amazing.
A lot of folks who listen to this podcast and have been on this podcast make huge decisions, very expensive decisions. They're crucial. They affect a lot of people, come with a lot of zeros behind them. So does finding a place to clear my head actually help me make a better decision?
I think clearing your head may help you, give you more confidence.
Okay.
When I write with headphones in my ears, on Pandora, on alternative music, like Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, stuff like that. Okay. So I'm not clearing my mind, but through that, I do clear my mind.
Right.
I think everybody has their own way of clearing and being at their place of comfort.
Yeah.
I think comfort in that, inspiration comes in a lot of places. It comes when the mind is cluttered and the mind is free. But I think the confidence comes when you can settle in and roll it in your mind and go, yes, this is the right decision.
All right. Is there a connection between physical fitness and mental and psychological fitness and health?
So exercise in its own right is a very successful and very effective treatment for depression.
Okay.
So it's been proven in trial after trial after trial. I think when we look at what people are doing and when somebody is investing in themselves, the psychological benefit is greater. So if they're investing in themselves, going to the gym, working out, running, eating right, they will perceive themselves as better. Mm-hmm. I think that is a psychological and emotional benefit.
Okay. Does fearing the outcome of a decision impede me from making the right decision, or is that nature's warning system that I need to proceed with caution?
I think fear is normal. I think you have to understand fear and doubts and insecurities are completely normal.
Okay.
Under more pressure, you have more of them. All right. It's the mind's warning system. All right. I call it the thought radar.
Right.
It's going to identify things that are possible threats, and it'd rather be wrong and misidentify than miss and not identify something. So understanding that fear is normal and those thoughts are not always real. There's some truth to them, because if there wasn't some truth to them, you would just ignore them.
Right.
So there's a little bit of truth to them. But then through that and understanding that and not fighting them, then we can come to a great decision. So fear, I use fear for my athletes and my clients, is not something to be worried about, but instead it's a great sign that good stuff is coming when you get into your process.
We get into this in the podcast, but I always get hounded by our listeners. They want to know book recommendations. So from you, any books on this subject matter, kind of mental strength and this whole kind of the mind, any books you would recommend?
Yeah, Unbroken, Laura Hillebrand, Lone Survivor, Marcus Luttrell, Top Dog, by Poe Bronson and Ashley Merriman. Another one that I absolutely love, but it's a tough read, is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman.
Right.
If you're a business leader and you're making decisions, that is a must read.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to go into my bookshelf and look. That's
pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good to start with.
That's not bad.
There. Yeah.
And then my book.
And yeah, I was going to say the Mindside Manifesto,
Absolutely.
which you can find at themindside.com.
Yes.
Right. Final question. You are from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So you've eaten Cajun food your whole life?
We moved there in 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but do you enjoy Cajun? Do you love
100%.
it?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is the closest place from where we are now that we can get to that has just great Cajun food that kind of fills that appetite when you want some Cajun food? Where do you get it? Where do you have to go to get it?
My old high school teammate owned a restaurant down in Chelsea for the first 6 years we lived here called the Bayou Grill.
Right.
It was incredible, and then he got sick and had to close it. So I wish he'd reopen it. The butcher shop over off of 150 called the Cajun Cleaver, I think is what it's called, is incredible. He's from Zachary, Louisiana. There is a Cajun restaurant in that shopping center that's really, really good. The main issue about Cajun food, though, is it's not over-spicing. That's the misinterpretation everyone thinks. It's fresh seafood. Right. It's fresh food. And now we do top it with amazingly fattening stuff. Right. But it has to start with good ingredients first. Yeah. So I love those places. And then right here on 280 is I just
Cajun.
Yeah.
What is the name of that?
It's not the Cajun Steamer, but it's
something like that.
Yeah,
I know the one right there on 280.
Yeah, near Mugshots. Yes.
Yeah, near Mugshot, right next to Mugshot.
He's from Baton Rouge as well and does a great job.
Yeah,
I just forgot his name.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so Dr. Bhrett McCabe coming up Monday on the Blueprint Podcast. Trust me on this one, you don't want to miss it. Some good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday.